What's poppin', y'all? Cenat's playing a dirty game because he recently came out and wanted to make a little bit of a clarification on the breakup, which was over 2 months ago. This thing happened in December or something like that with his ex Gigi, who has been getting an onslaught of hate, not only from Cenat's assistant, the closest person to him, Cenat's friends, and the streamers around him, and on top of that, Cenat's fans, accusing her of cheating and a number of other things. So he says, I just want to say this from my heart. It can be confusing to see news about me and the people around me that isn't true. Sure, yeah. I've been sharing my life online for a long time now and know that once you share aspects of your life with the world, it can be hard to keep things private. There have been rumors, speculations, and comments made about my previous relationship and my friends. I want to apologize for not addressing things sooner, but I needed to take a step back from social media and process everything. People react to things in different ways. It is an emotional time and should have been handled privately. Yeah, well, really, it was handled privately. He just came out and tweeted, I'm gonna be single forever now, or something like that. If there's ever something important, something real for me to address or say, you will hear it directly from me. You'll always hear it from me. Don't let all the noise distract from that. This applies to everything in my life. My relationships, my businesses, my streams, everything. I wish the best to Gabrielle and ask to please respect both sides. Now, Akademiks is somebody that's had conversations with Cenat. He's interviewed him in the beginning of his career. He, on his Off the Record podcast, he gives a very valid criticism here, which I'm going to play you guys that clip right now.
Apologize for not addressing things sooner. Yo, Kai, respectfully, brother. I think everybody was minding their business, and Kai got online and tweeted out, I'm single, I'll never get in a relationship again. I think it's one of the most look, I'm single, I'll never be in a relationship again. It's not like people is invading this. And we gotta be, I know everybody's super lit, super Hollywood, everything is cool. But bruv, you invited us in the group chat, gang. You're taking pictures with Shorty all the time, get it. We could assume y'all were in a relationship, which clearly you were, right? But bro, you got online and said, I'm single, I'll never be in a relationship again. I don't know if it's fair for you to be like, yo, man, is speculating. Bro, this is something that leads to speculation. There's 66 million people who saw this. 66 million people. Yeah. It's not us. I think it's you, brother. You should have explained it.
Let's be for real here. This was nearly 2 months ago, and think about how much hate that she's got. And even with the Akademiks situation, so one of the rumors that spread a couple of days before Cenat came out with this tweet was from a fake account that said that, Akademiks reports that YoungBoy was smashing Cenat's girl. And then that spreads, a bunch of people start believing that, and then Akademiks has to come the same night and say, hey, I never said this, I never got any of this information, this is not true and did not come from me. So that part with Akademiks attached to it drops. And then the YoungBoy thing is still circling around. So YoungBoy hits Akademiks, and Akademiks is like, I'm trying to get into contact with Cenat because YoungBoy is pissed because he didn't smash this girl. He didn't knock your girl down. He wasn't even in contact with her. And Gigi, who is Gabrielle, who is Cenat's ex-girlfriend, she makes an entire video explaining herself because she's getting nothing but hate every single day from people surrounding Cenat. So he allows her to suffer like this. And this is brutality. I'm not going to lie, because we have an example that is the exact opposite of what Cenat did. And this other guy did way more for his girlfriend, which is this streamer, former professional gamer for the game Valorant, TenZ. He was dating this girl, Kaide, and they met in high school. So they met in high school. They were like high school sweethearts. And then he became a pro player. He started her streaming career. She was playing the same game. They were together for 7 years, right? 7 years they were together, which is a lot longer than Cenat's even really been in the game. But 7 years they were together, and she went through cancer. He quit his career. We're talking about like his professional gaming career, which these things are usually short depending, but he was one of the best players. He quits at his peak to take care of the girlfriend while she has cancer, and then they end up breaking up for whatever reason. She's I think her cancer is in remission, so she doesn't have cancer anymore, or no evidence of cancer. I remember I learned this in a book a long time ago, where it's like, you're never really cancer free, there's just no evidence anymore that you have cancer. But I always like to keep things very specific. Anyway, So he comes out after because people are saying, oh, she was cheating with this guy, some guy named John Choi or something. Yeah, she was going on trips. And then people are spreading rumors. And what is that guy doing, TenZ? Who could just fall back and let her get hate, and he wouldn't be wrong because they put this joint statement together. And keep in mind, they put a joint statement saying, oh, we went our separate ways mutually. I did a whole video on the entire storyline if you want. It'll be in the pinned comment and the end cards. So they put out a joint statement, which Cenat did not do. Cenat went out and said, oh, I'm single, or I'm never going to be in a relationship again, which already starts speculation, which is like, damn, you're taking that far of a, and that's a tweet, and we heard it from you. We didn't hear it from somebody else. Okay. But TenZ, they put out a joint statement, and he starts seeing that she's getting hate. What does he do? This guy's playing, now you could say it's sucker behavior or whatever, but he's playing defense on her behalf. So you could tell he doesn't want her to get hate. And this is all within a couple of days of the announcement. Cenat let this fester for well over a month. I mean, 2 months nearly. And when does he post this? At the day before Valentine's Day? He comes out about this like false rumor thing. So you allowed YoungBoy to have dirt thrown on his name, probably created drama between YoungBoy and his baby mamas that he has to explain himself, or he has to handle the situations between his baby mamas the way that he usually handles it. And I'm not going to accept that, oh, Cenat just didn't know. Like, he didn't know that his audience would be, railing on GG through that whole time. No, he cannot say that because 2 years or 3 years ago, actually, in 2023, Cenat was hosting a PS5 giveaway. It was for Christmas or something like that. And it turned into a riot. It turned into a full-scale riot. People were jumping on top of cars. People were breaking stuff. And he got arrested by the police. He was facing riot charges. And those charges ended up getting dropped for him. He talked to the mayor, who was Eric Adams at the time. So he had to pay $55,000 in restitution. And he had to put up an apology for 24 hours on his social media, which was his Snapchat. And on that, he posted the following. When I promoted a giveaway, PS5s in Union Square Park, it created an unintentional, dangerous situation due to the way I promoted and advertised it. The result was an unsafe situation for the people who live and work in the neighborhood, first responders, and my followers that attended the event. I apologize for the disruption and damage to the community, the park, the vehicles, and the storefronts in the area. I recognize this gathering impacted business owners and their employees by interfering with their ability to do business that afternoon, thereby compromising their livelihoods. I apologize to the first responders who had to endure the backlash of the irresponsible promotion and work to restore calm. Finally, I apologize to my followers who came to the promotion and did not act out. I'm from New York and would never want to see the city turned upside down due to unwanted, irresponsible, and dangerous behavior. I wanted to do something cool and fun for people and did not think it was going to turn into something that caused harm to the city, and I should have thought more about the post before I announced it. The actions of some of the people that attended were unacceptable. At no time is it okay to act out physically in situations like this. It was never my intent for it to get so out of hand, and I have learned a very valuable lesson that social media is a powerful tool to do good, but it can also cause dangerous, unwanted situations if it is not used properly. Okay, got it. I know the mayor and the police department are looking out for the safety. So in this, there was also a clip. I don't know if the stream is still up, but he was saying like, yo, I had no idea that this was the power that I wielded. And at 2023, this was the first time we saw it actually happen in real life. Granted, this is online, and this is 3 years later when Cenat is 100 times more famous, 100 times richer, and has 100 times stronger of an audience, and people don't have to show up. So online, people are going to act out in far more hateful ways than they would in person. So imagine the DM, this girl's getting death threats, and he knows that because like I said, and like he said from his own apology, he now understood the power that social media has and that he himself wields in being able to get people to act in a certain manner. So when you tweet something vague saying you are never going to be in a relationship again, not even vague, something to that leaves vagueness in people's mind, especially your diehard fans, a lot of them who are children and teenagers, what do you think they're going to act out? Yeah, they're going to brutally attack and throw accusations on your ex-girlfriend. And that's what happened to her for well over a month. So he allowed her to suffer like this. And I'm not saying he owes her anything, but for him to say, oh, it might be confusing to hear. No, the only confusion that exists is due to Cenat. And this is a lack of accountability, to be frank. What he should have said is, hey, I sent that tweet out. I was emotional. If he was going to say anything, he doesn't have to say anything. But if he was going to say something and he was going to be honest, not like this statement, which just shows regret without accountability. Yeah, he says, I apologize for. No, he did address things sooner, actually. He addressed it immediately. So he should have said, I should have never tweeted out something like that was out of emotion, because that's what people are thinking when you say something that drastic, especially on social media, and that's the only thing that you're saying, and there is no more context. There's not a video clip, nothing like that, nothing to break up or soften the heaviness of a tweet and a statement like that. What do you think is going to happen? Well, he doesn't have to think. He knows what's going to happen, and that is exactly what happened. And it had a ripple effect towards people that have nothing to do with your situation, like Youngboy. Like, you weren't, and this is a behind the scenes thing too. Cenat wasn't even picking up calls behind the scenes when Youngboy was trying to get into contact with him, when Akademiks was trying to get into contact with him, so they could clear their names so they don't have to be attached to your situation, which they have nothing to do with. So this was, I'm not going to say it was immature by Cenat, because he's a young guy. Like he said, this was like his first relationship and it was public. But I do think that unless his chick actually cheated on him, legitimately, there has to be some sort of grace he has to afford her, and at least not tweet that out or say, hey, we separated amicably, because even the girl didn't say anything for a while until she made a video. She could have made a video immediately when Cenat sent that tweet out, and it would have been capitalizing on it a lot better than her waiting. I think she waited maybe a week or so before she said anything. So the girl waited for him for 30 days, mind you. When Cenat was doing Mafiathon 3, we have to give her credit for this, and I've said this multiple times, and I will continue to reiterate it. She did not see him for 30 days, and she did not do anything annoying that we saw. She did not harm the flow of that project whatsoever. She allowed that to happen for 30 days, and she supported that. So the fact that she was willing to do that for you, I mean, you got to at least save her from being sent to the wolves. And this is the thing. No matter what happens, she will get hate. Because even in the TenZ and Kaide situation, granted, that situation is a lot more extreme because there was cancer involved. They were together 7 years, etc. But regardless, she would have gotten hate. But he really helped soften the blow of the hate. And nobody attached to the situation is being blamed for. Like the John Choi guy, which is the guy that she allegedly cheated with, he put out a statement, and even TenZ and people around them are putting out statements saying, hey, that guy has never hung out with her in a one-on-one setting. It's always been in a group setting. Meanwhile, Youngboy's not going to put out a statement because, dog, Youngboy is going to be talking about, oh, I never got with that chick, when that's your chick. And this is Youngboy. Like, he doesn't need to clear that up publicly. But let me know what y'all think about this in the comments. Like and subscribe and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed. I think Cenat was just in his feelings before Valentine's Day and was like, damn, maybe I did do something scummy. But yeah, I'm going to see you on the next one.